James Gimmel on West Michigan's news, weather, and traffic station. Depend on it.
Live from high atop Monroe Center in downtown Grand Rapids, we're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2420, 774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Welcome in, folks. Another big one, and man, oh man, what a day we have in store for you. Yep, we're lined up with all the latest stories, the big news, some of the things that maybe aren't as big, they're trying to make big, and more. Yeah, we're going to make sense of it all. And, of course, you came to the right place. You know, a lot of times I think the stories they'll want you to believe are the ones that are bigger, the ones that are happening in D.C. or Lansing. And, yeah, some of those are. Maybe sometimes the biggest news happening right in your own backyard.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
A perfect example of that backyard story coming up in moments this morning, so stick with us for that. Oh, yeah. And a big thanks to our friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Dave Galloway and the team making today possible, and every day in the Big Three, of course. Dave going to make sure that you get exactly what you need, well taken care of. Home equity line of credit, you want to buy, refi, whatever it might be, now's the time to take a look, especially as we got mortgage rates kind of headed in that right direction. And for sure, it looks like this month, it doesn't hurt to get ahead of what may be coming. So details, hhmlending.com. Reach out to Dave and the team. They can help you get it done today.
Number one.
The Big Three. Well, it's a big one. At least they're trying to make it out to be. More Epstein files released, including in this trove what I believe may be one of the reasons you've heard Trump really speak out against the what he calls hoax in this scenario. Not that the story's not real, not that there hasn't been issues, and not that Epstein wasn't up to some really serious and sick stuff. No. But the way they're trying to portray it now, they've released, Congress included this birthday book message, which we'll go through a little bit later on today. Seems to be an absolute hoax of all hoaxes. So many things wrong with this little piece of, I don't know if it's a card or a piece of paper that was typed out and then signed by President Trump, with a signature that, if you compare it, doesn't really even resemble his. The message is also a little off. And all of these things causing folks, experts, lawmakers alike, to be skeptical, noting the drawing style, the signature don't match anything Trump's known for doing in the past. But that's not what you'll hear if you tune into the mainstream narrative this morning.
Number two.
That's why you come here. Again, including the story about the big win with the Supreme Court yesterday for Trump and ICE. A 6-3 decision, Nome versus Perdomo. SCOTUS lifting the injunction, blocking immigration agents from stopping and arresting individuals in Los Angeles without probable cause. Even when race, language, job, or location were factors. All of those can be included. The ruling restoring broad enforcement authority in L.A., signaling a major legal victory for the administration's immigration crackdown. Yeah, and as you can imagine, the mayor of L.A., Karen Bass, the one who let her town burn, she doesn't like it either. She is dissenting, she says, from that decision herself. Here's what Karen Bass had to say yesterday.
Today, the Supreme Court, the very body advance civil rights and defend personal liberties, has now given the green light for law enforcement to profile and detain Angelenos based on their race.
Now she cares. Have to come back home during the wildfire, stayed overseas during her trip. Was she in Africa or someplace like that? I think is the situation. Now she cares. She cares. President Trump launching a bold new initiative yesterday called America Prays. It happened yesterday when he gave his speech at the Museum of the Bible, which is a beautiful. If you've never been and you get a chance to take the family to Washington, D.C. on one of these big trips, sightseeing and whatnot, I highly recommend it. I was just there a couple of months back, and it's absolutely beautiful. You got to get in and check it out, and there's lots to see there. So he's asking folks to devote themselves, rededicate to being one nation under God ahead of nation's 250th anniversary. The celebration, of course, coming next year, calling on every state's faith communities to gather in groups of 10 and pray for the country for 1 hour weekly. Trump also pledged new education department guidance to protect prayer in public schools and donated his family Bible to the Museum of the Bible. Civil liberties experts promptly raising concerns over a potential, but of course they are. But their religion is the state, so no, it's true. Every time we hear this separation of church and state, well, their church is the state. These folks on the left, just the truth. That's all it is. I got lots to talk about still yet today. We'll have a couple of guests that you're going to want to hear from. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot happening in the nation's capital and even our state as well. But the stories that matter most a lot of times happen in your own backyard. And one of them, we'll talk with some folks in Ottawa County that are fighting the good fight again. You saw this happen in Green Charter Township, Mecosta County, when they fought against that Chinese Communist Party-linked battery plant they tried to put in Goshen up north. You remember that big story?
China.
Yeah. Well, they have a similar fight on their hands here, a little bit closer to home. We'll get into that story that you're not going to want to miss. Trust me on this. Talk with the folks right smack dab in the middle of it after this.
Call Justin now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
All right, quick break. We're back with more next. Don't go anywhere.
Asking the tough questions. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow complains about the cost of watching football, but then wants to create a Lions ticket tax. The complaint contradicts efforts by McMorrow and other Senate Democrats in recent years to concoct an amusement tax for fans of Lions games and others that never ultimately materialized. In other news, a large-scale illegal immigration raid at a Hyundai battery plant construction site in Georgia, raising questions here in Michigan over oversight failures and questions whether similar practices may be in play here. Federal agencies detaining about 450 illegals, that construction site in Georgia on hold. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have.
All right, folks. We are rolling full speed ahead. The behind-the-scenes live stream. Thank you so much for being here with us. I say full speed, but that's probably not completely accurate, and I'll tell you why. Apparently, they had some internet issues this morning here at the studios, and they reset the internet. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what happened, but this computer and subsequently the internet is a little has been a little off this morning. So things are happening a little bit slower than what we'd like for them to be, but we're still going to try and get through it all. So don't go anywhere. Hang out with us, and please, thank you for your patience. I'll just say right now, this is a pre-thank you. Thank you for your patience. Let's say good morning, Mando, Mark, Sharon, Kelly in the house at a VIP Freedom Fam this morning over on Locals. If you haven't joined yet, $7 a month is it. That gets you right in. Plus, you get a whole year. When you do that, you'll get a month free and a copy of my book. Sign it and send it to you. I love to do that. Thank you, Dina. Good to see you today, too. Salo Sue is here with us as well. Hemi's in the house. Thank you, guys, for being here with us and hanging out this morning. On Rumble, I can't see it yet. It hasn't quite loaded. This is one of those It's got to take a minute to catch up. It's taking a breath here. Stephen Legacy, Manda Marks, Julianne, good to see you. Jen Lynn, Trish in progress. Such a time as this. And the Bookers, Sherry, Sean, Bruce, Jason, Matt, and so many others. Thank you guys for being here with us. Folks watching on the tube today, too. Tubers, appreciate you. Okay. Here we go. Still looking good on this angle. All right, we're trying to load up a couple of things here. So the neighbors are worried in this Ottawa County neighborhood about a proposed battery energy system. It's called a BESS, Battery Energy Storage System in Blendon Township. Why this is important, we're gonna make the case. Even if you don't live in Ottawa County and maybe in Michigan, you're gonna want to hear this story. Bev Horiga is with us this morning. Let's just make sure. Hey, Adam, can you just double check how do we pronounce her last name? I want to make sure I get that right. We may not be able to play this video from the story because of the internet here. Let's see.
Key Capture Energy is looking to build a plant in Black.
Yep, all right. There we go. Back on the air, folks.
A new battery energy storage facility could be coming to Ottawa County. Key Capture Energy is looking to build a plant in Blendon Township, but some will hurt their farm-rich area. News 8's Adriana Doria spoke with neighbors in the area to get their reaction to the proposal. She has more from Blendon Township.
This is the proposed location for this battery energy storage facility. It's going to be right here behind this substation in the wooded area. It's set to take up over 15 acres of land, and this is a very rural area that is going to soon potentially become industrial.
It's a battery energy storage system. As you mentioned, they call it BESS. The reporter just said it's a rural area. It's a lot of farmland, and it's an area that's going to become industrial. Think of things used inside of that system. Bev Hornigan is with us here now. She's been at the forefront of this, reached out a while back, and I'm glad we can finally get you on, Bev, to tell this story. I know you're trying to shine a light on this so that folks understand what's going on. Welcome on. Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us this morning.
Well, thank you, Justin.
You all are in the middle of a fight that same sort of issue I think people are finding themselves in at different places. They don't really get, in a lot of ways, I think before, the attention that they deserve in these fights. A lot of times these things they sort of seem to get railroaded or ramrodded in, and they really don't get a choice in the matter. But in recent years, people have decided to stand up, and you guys are in that. Tell us what about this system that's coming in that you're fighting, why you don't like it, and the process of how it's played out so far.
Well, basically, the potential dangers that it has is what concerns us. Like you said, we are a farm-rich area, and therefore, if anything should happen, which many have already had fires, the thermal runoff fire is very toxic. The land around that is damaged from the toxins will never be usable again. And unfortunately, with our farm, our land completely surrounds right where the battery farm is going to be going into.
So what would power the batteries? Is this regular coal-fired plants that are going to produce the energy to fire this? Is it solar? Is it wind? Do they talk about that? And why do they need batteries?
Well, they say that wind and solar are not going to be in their electrical pull. So my assumption is it's all coming from our coal plant. They're going to pull the electric off the line, store it into the lithium-ion batteries, and when the need is high, they will release it.
I don't understand why they can't just produce like they always have. There seems like there's a solution here without a problem.
Well, our governor is trying to shut down the Campbell plant. So that's why we're starting to see all this solar and wind farms coming up into play here.
Yeah, I understand that, and I understand that they've been working. By the way, that's the same reason why our bills keep going up, too.
That's true.
There's a story out of Ohio today, and I don't know if you saw this. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, coming up in Tech Talk this morning with our good friend Trent Knibbie, Affordable Eye Store. But in Ohio, there's a bill out there. Lawmakers are trying to put it together, companies to limit your energy usage. So, in other words, if they get a peak time and they need to pull more energy for, manufacturing or something that they deem as a higher priority than you in your home, they'd be able to do that, which is wild to me. But with the meters and everything else that they have these days, and of course this story, it sort of lines up that they might want to do this. And I guess we're probably forgetting the elephant in the room, which is all the data facilities and the AI eventually that they're going to try and get up to speed and running. That's going to probably be more drain than you or I and any of us running our big screen TV and a refrigerator or anything else in the house with the air conditioner at the same time. Even if we're plugging our Teslas in, we're still not going to be the type of drain that they're going to be. So I understand that they're looking for different ways to do things in this day and age. But in your situation, you say, not in my backyard.
No, definitely not. Farmland is being attacked here in Michigan. Yep. In West Michigan, very farm rich. Just north of us is 300 acres that they're looking at to do an AI data center. Well, that's probably part of the reason why they want to put in a battery farm here, because they do drain the area towns and cause brownouts. Now, West Michigan, we don't deal with brownouts, but yet they think we're going to. So there's got to be a correlation between all the solar farms, wind farms, and the data centers going in, that they're looking at us to hold electricity.
And maybe the saddest part of this is that none of this should have ever been a problem in the first place. The wind, solar, and pardon my French, but I call it wind, solar, and unicorn farts.
How dare you?
That's what they're pushing on all of us. All this sort of pie in the sky, fantastical technology that I don't think really is been proven to do any sort of good for anyone just yet. And I don't know that it ever will, except for drain our pockets. And then the other issue is they talk about affordable and reliable. Well, I don't think this technology is either one. As you just mentioned, the brownouts. That's the quiet part they're saying out loud now.
Michigan is the worst place for solar and wind. And so we need to keep our Campbell plant, coal. We need to look at nuclear. That's where our electricity comes from.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to produce enough to do much of anything with Michigan's weather.
One of the things, and Bev Horgan is with us right now, they're looking at a battery storage. It's called BESS facility there in right next to the farm that she's on, Blendon Township there in Ottawa County. And residents are standing up and fighting this. We've heard from a number of folks who have reached out and said, please talk about this. And Bev, you've got a Facebook community where people are sharing not just the word on this, but some things that are happening throughout the state as well. But this has come to the forefront. This particular subject. You're even hearing from people. I noticed that Joe Moss has come out as an Ottawa County Commissioner with a strong statement against this. Have you heard from any elected officials on this? You mentioned, that this is starting to kind of pick up speed.
We've contacted a few different of our local ones. We have not heard a whole lot back from them, just that they're looking into it. So at this time, we do have Joe Moss behind us. We have Brendan Muir behind us, and they are big helps in the push to oppose the battery farm.
And again, for you all, this is not just an environmental issue, but it's an issue of what happens to the legacy of the farm, and what will you be able to do if there is a problem there? Are there leaks often? Do you have any background, the research on how this plays out and what it looks like when these facilities go bad?
Here's the interesting thing. KCE is a company, and the battery containers that they want to put here, as of yet, have not been in production, in operation.
Wow.
I've looked into it a little bit more. There are different states that are going to be using them, but right at this point, they're only UL tested, and therefore they have no true testing other than the UL testing on what's going to happen with these after use. And most, if you look at them, at 4 years, that's when they start having the problems. And the interesting thing is, KCE, in their application, holds the rights to, at 4 years, sell off the rights to another company. So therefore, they can keep themselves clean by selling off before the problems start.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the life on these things is that long. Bev, will you come back? I want to definitely continue to have this conversation with you. Maybe we can speak off the line here in a little bit as well. But will you come back with more information about this? And as you all continue to try and get the word out, I'd love to have you do that. But also, what can people do if they hear this and they want to help support you all right now?
Well, we could use prayers right now. September 15, we have a board meeting, and the board has announced that the application has been received and will then go on to the planning committee. So we do need prayers. I'm looking for people to email, to call and oppose, let the board know, township know that we do not need to become industrialized here. We want to stay the farming community that we are. At this point, we're just getting ready to set up for donations. We have not gotten that far yet. We're in the process right now of doing that.
Now, we'll make sure that we keep people apprised of this. And you said prayers. Anything else that you'd like for people to know, or anywhere you want them to go?
If you're in the township or the neighboring townships that will be also affected by anything that happens with those battery containers, please show up to the planning committee meeting that's in October, but also September. We really need you to show up and to show that you're opposing this to the board meeting on September 15th, 7 p.m.
Now, we'll make sure we put this information, links to the stories as well, online in our stack today. Bev Horriga, as the folks here in Blended Township, Ottawa County, fight to oppose what would be a battery energy storage system there, they say they have real concerns about. Thank you so much for taking the time, Bev. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Justin. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Praying for you guys. And we'll continue to keep stories come through. Tech Talk, more on this subject. Back after this, and we check our bottom of the hour news. Hang on, don't go anywhere. All right, folks, hang on. Let me see if Bev is still there, and I'll give Bev. Are you still there on the line with us?
I am.
All right, we've got the behind-the-scenes live stream going on here on Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, all those different places, and sometimes folks like to ask questions. So
Okay.
it looks like you might even have some people from the Facebook page or the group rather they're in, or some
Good
folks
morning.
that are
It's
aware
9.
inside the group here too. So if you have things that you want to say or maybe questions that you'd like to ask inside the chat, we'll give Bev a couple of minutes here to continue to get this out. Let me just back and see if I can see a few of the questions or the comments here. What happens if these battery storage plants catch fire? Oh, that's an interesting question. Do they have that issue with the lithium ion?
Yes. Case in point, Moss Landing in California. If you want to see what one looks like, look it up on YouTube. You will see what a lithium fire looks like.
Oh.
Number one, they cannot be put out with water. And our township is all well water. We do not have any city water lines running through. If Moss Landing took almost 20 million gallons of water, I don't know where they plan on getting water like that.
And this was a battery.
Now, also,
this was a battery plant in
yes,
California.
Exact what's going to go in right here.
Wow, 2 months. Did you say how long did it take to put out?
What did it say? Oh,
that's okay. It just does seem like it was a while.
It took them 7 days to put it out.
Wow.
You have to let a lithium battery run through its course of the fire. The only thing you can do is cool the surrounding batteries. Now, the batteries that they're going to put in here have a self-contained fire suppression system. Now, this system is chemicals. Those chemicals will be seeping into our ground. We have our aquifer is already at a dangerous level for being low.
Yeah.
So if it gets into there, everybody in West Michigan is going to have toxic water.
That's incredible. I don't know why they're playing such games with this. And a lot of this comes from them. You know, what's wild to me is a lot of this comes from them in the standpoint saying we want to be environmentally friendly because they don't want to use coal or some of the other, natural gas or whatever it might be. They say this is environmentally friendly, but it seems like we've got a lot of extra issues, one after the other, when you start to take the consideration of all these things.
Well, if you look at all the improvements they've done in the Campbell plant, it's running pretty clean. With what we can do today, there's no reason why we can't be running clean coal.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, and this is the only thing I'll say about this, nobody wants any of these things in their backyard. You mentioned nuclear, and I think that's a great option, too. We've heard a lot about that. Modular nuclear, from everything that I've heard, seems to be the best choice. But we've heard about nuclear, even coal, and particularly the wind and solar, and now these battery plants. Nobody wants any of it in the backyard, but we have to have something in the backyard. And so the question is, if we're going to make those decisions, what's the most reliable? What's the most affordable way to go about it? And nuclear might be the right way to go. I just, I look at these things and I think to myself, the other piece of this that really is a problem is decisions get made without addressing any of the in the community.
We were blindsided.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if there's anything else. Solar and wind turbines must go nuclear option or best, Sean says. Stop the data center from going in Mooresville, North Carolina, because the city stood up. Yeah, sure sounds like the same situation. Yeah, that's a good thing. I think there are people that are standing up to this. But again, you guys are going to need some help. You're going to need some help getting the word out and making sure people are aware. Bev,
well, and plus we have other communities that are just announced down just south of us. They're looking at doing a solar farm or wind farm. Sorry. My suspicion is these are tied in, even though they say they're not connected, but I'm kind of suspicious that they are because of how close. But if you really look at the output from electricity, from solar and wind, it's like only 2% of energy ever used. So what good is 2%?
Yeah, very good point. Bev, I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for chatting with folks behind the scenes here. And, of course, if people have questions, we'll make sure, or they want to support, I'll make sure that we get everyone connected. But let me know if there's anything we could do in the future on this. This is just the first, really, I think making people aware. That's the first leg of this. So you guys are doing that well.
Thank you, Justin.
You got it. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks.
See you, Bev. All right, folks, got to jump back on the air here. Trent, I just saw you jump in. I think we've got you. I don't think we have to test. We're just going to run fly blind here. But if we have issues with the tech guy, well, then we'll figure them out. We'll figure them out. Hang on, folks. Back on the air here. Stand by.
It's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend, Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Lots of questions about this battery plant. I'm going to put the story in the stack today at justinbarclay.com so you can check it out. But we were just talking about this off the air. It's not this whole thing it's nothing new here. These types of things are happening over and over again. And if they weren't pushing wind, solar, and unicorn farts this whole time, there would be no need for any of this.
How dare you?
I know. Well, it's the same with the Green Charter Township situation in Goshen and whatnot. Yet they still continue to push these ideas, this agenda. And this is just another battle. Look, you see how successful they've been with Goshen. These things are possible, but they're going to be long, drawn out, and protracted. And unfortunately, in situations in rural areas, they seem to have a real target right now. So Blended Township is in for it, but they do have some folks that are in the fight with them. That sounds good, and we'll make sure that we continue to connect people. Hey, we got lots to tell. In fact, we'll talk a little bit more about that battery situation and a few other major announcements on a Tech Talk segment this morning.
Hack into the latest in tech and how it affects you and your world. This is Tech Talk Tuesday on Wood Radio's West Michigan Live.
Our good friend Trent Kennedy, Affordable Life Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standale, is standing by. Grand River Tech as well. You got questions? He'll answer them all for you. Good morning, my friend. Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us.
Doing good,
How are
Justin.
you?
Good morning. Doing good.
Hey, you have some big announcements coming today. Apple has a big day. They got a new phone coming, it looks like, at least anyway. We may see a couple other things on that list, too. I want to talk about a few of those big announcements. But first, there's something that we were just talking about, which I thought was kind of interesting. Obviously, this battery plant. I just dropped a story in sort of, by the way, as we were discussing that. It's in Ohio. They have a bill now that's... And actually, Republicans pushing it, which is kind of wild, that would allow these to throttle people's energy. Now, this is in Ohio. That's not far from us. We can imagine that, that if they can do it, there probably might be an effort to get that done here. All that might, I'd say, most likely come from the Democrat side here in Michigan when they look at this. But to me, when you watch these stories, it really is, it's concerning because, again, all of this is about control. It's about turning power off for us probably when we need it most. And the truth is that they've had the ability to do this for a long time now. We just didn't know about it. This bill would make it completely lawful, according to what it looks like we're trying to push.
Yeah, Justin, these programs have been out for ages, for, 15 years now, as far as back as I've known about it locally here, where you could volunteer to have a little device put on your air conditioner with consumers, energy locally. At my first house is when I heard about this probably 15 years ago. And it was a voluntary program. It was not required. It was not forced by the government. There was some education about it. I almost signed up for it at the time. I thought, hey, that's not a bad idea. Save some money, right? That's the carrot. But on the other hand, if it's 95 degrees and you need air conditioning, and you don't have the ability to have that unless you call in, you get a certain number of exceptions a year. It was just like, this is messy. And then obviously we get here today where it's like, hey, the power grids are really struggling. They're struggling because of renewable energies are not hitting the demands and the marks that they should be hitting. because the math has been, how do you want to say this, inaccurate, conveniently not used accurately. And so they really have a problem where if they don't curb peak demand, they're going to have to either go nuclear or some other methods, natural gas, to increase those peak demand hours. They actually had emergency alerts issued in Ohio during the summer, and that really scared them to realize that, hey, if we don't put something together, we're going to have to add more capacity or push these programs on people in a more forcible way. And I don't like that. If they want to have a voluntary program, fine. But when the government forces us, what we can do, Justin, there's tons of ways that we can help smooth the peak demand in our energy grid. There's buyback from people that can generate their own stuff. Back in 2018, when they Consumers Energy and other utilities revamped the buyback program, they give so little money for people to pay back solar, wind, natural gas, other forms of generating electricity to put that back into the grid during peak times that it's not even worth doing. If they were serious about this, they would incentivize buyback of electricity from customers who do have the means to generate that during peak time. So it's very political, Justin. There's a lot more going on this than just turning your thermostat back a few degrees when it's really hot.
Hey, do you remember? And you made this point, and I kind of laughed, chuckled thinking about that because you said, yeah, this was a volunteer thing. I remember making the point. There were a lot of us who said, look, it's going to start with, hey, if you want a better rate, you can do this. But eventually they're just going to tell you this is what you're going to do. And there are a lot of people that actually fought and they're looked at kind of crazy. They're probably having the last laugh now for wanting these smart meters taken off of their homes or fighting that, because that's one of the ways that they can use and control down to the very house what your energy flow looks like and how that works. What's interesting to watch this now is it's all coming into the big picture. People are starting to really see what it all means. Again, this is not going anywhere, folks. Your bill is going up. In fact, there's a story out of Ottawa County yesterday. I think it's George. I don't remember which township it was, but they've got their water bill just went up like 50%. Like their water bill went through the roof, and people are going nuts over a water bill. Same thing's going to happen with your power bill, with your light bill, gas as well, and how much you're going to be able to get, because all the data center, the AI, all of that, it's coming. They can't turn it down. I don't think they're going to have the huevos rancheros to do that anyway. And they may actually be forced because of the competition that we're in, seemingly anyway, with countries like China. It's Georgetown Township. Tammy said, by the way, the water. I saw people lined up to talk about the water on Facebook the other day. Gosh, there's so many people in line to talk about that there because they're just ticked off, and I don't blame them. But this is something that I think has taken a lot of people by surprise, and really shouldn't, Trent.
Yeah, Justin, this summer, these last couple of summer bills, July and August, our home electricity bill was 25% higher than any of the past summers, ever. And that's because of the increased rates, a slightly warmer summer for sure, but a big part of it's that peak rate that we've only had the last couple of years during the middle of the day when you need it most. So, I don't know all the financials of the electricity companies and how that works, but it seems like they're never short on money. Why that gets passed on to us with all their programs and incentives. And Justin, it's even getting in the commercial world too. New electrical services for commercial have crazy rules where they have to separate power supplies for lighting from heating and cooling and other things, which costs a ton of extra infrastructure cost for electrical panels and wiring, all because they're planning on more and more control for businesses, not just homes, but as well as businesses in the future to control the power. That's really what it comes down to. And right now, like you said before, it's under the guise of, helping with peak rates. But once that equipment's all in there, if there's an emergency and the grid is short on power, as well as I do, they're going to issue an emergency order and cut people to, quote unquote, save the grid.
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest issues, and I think you'll continue to see this into the election here next here and beyond, but the electric bills put how much people are paying. It's not just here. We're having the same issues down in Indiana, Ohio. It's gonna continue to be front and center. So we're gonna follow that for you. Make sure we stay on top of it all. Okay, I got a couple of stories. Just trying to figure out where we go next. There's not a lot of time to get through all the stuff we want to get to today. So let me do this. Your average attention span is now just 8 seconds and dropping. So we'll have 8 seconds to spend on Trent. Make it brief. But it's social media and everything else. And boy, I think people are really starting, especially kids, starting to feel this in school and other places. Your focus just doesn't last like it used to, does it?
Yeah, Justin, our brains are amazing creations, really. And all the swiping, all of the short videos, everything is a quick attention span, right? On the internet, the ads, the swiping, the video shorts, everything is just for a few seconds. And that makes our brain less receptive to anything longer. And it's really, people that do studies on this show that it's destroying our brain. It's destroying our ability to think, focus, and actually retain core pieces of information to make critical decisions. People are doing it in a moment instead of waiting more than 8 seconds to say, hey, should I respond to this message? Should I, cut this guy off when I'm driving down the road? It literally has its tentacles into everything. Mm-hmm. And it's literally to blame on social media and modern tech is programming our brains. And it's bad.
Yeah. Trent Kennedy, Affordable Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive and Standout. Another big day today for Apple and big announcements coming out today. A new iPhone we may be getting. Is this right? An iPhone Air, new watches, heart rate tracking, AirPods. I don't know if you want or think you might even need any of those. But Trent, apparently those announcements are expected to be made a little bit later today. What can we look forward to?
Yeah, we'll have this information all by late afternoon. But yes, brand new iPhone 17 Air. It's a slimmed down version of the iPhone, same screen size as the normal phones, but a slimmer, lighter version that's going to be, the rumors are saying it might even be a little bit more expensive than the average phone, which I was surprised to see. I wish they would have a little bit more affordable new basic phone. They have new watches, 2 new watches. They have Ultra 3, which is their premium watch. There's a lot of things that are being released, but the key here is just incremental upgrades. This is about a 25% upgrade at the very most from any one feature. So if you're looking for a crazy powerful camera or twice the battery life, you're not going to get it this update round. If you want something more major in the future, they're saying this Air phone, this iPhone 17 Air, may pave the way for an Apple foldable phone, which Apple hasn't touched. But they're saying this might be the test model for half of the foldable phone that they're going to release next year, is the rumors.
I don't need a foldable phone. I don't know about you, but it just doesn't seem to be on my radar. Hey, if you're like me and you're thinking, I don't need that new phone either. I just need and gets the job done for me. Eye Store, Lake Michigan Drive in Standell is a great place to check out what they can do for you there. That's where Lizzie and I get our phones and devices as well. They just take care of you, such good care of you. And speaking of which, if you got an organization or a business and you need help with the security when it comes to the cybersecurity or just putting the things together, they've got all kinds of IT solutions for you as well at Grand River Tech. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks, Justin. Have a great day. Thanks, Justin.
You got it, Trent Kennedy. At a Tech Talk segment that you may want to go back and listen to over again. There's some really good stuff locked inside. All right, back in moments. First, let's take a look at the markets today. All over the road lately, we've been watching some really interesting times as we've seen records being set. Saw a record set with gold. I do to make sure that I get to where I want to go for my retirement, whether it's today to down the road from now. That's understandable. Maybe you're already retired. Just want to make sure that everything's lasting the way that you need it to, okay, so you can get to where you want to go. I get it. You want to be able to sleep well at night. The folks at Talon Wealth can help you do just that. They can help you get to where you want to go. Mike Lester and the team are willing to walk you through what needs to get done at Talon Wealth and guardingyournestegg.com. I'll tell you, it's, you can definitely feel like you're on a roller coaster ride. And at times, like you're a little queasy from all of that, right? I get it. Now's the best time to find out how they can help you. Reach out today at 616-661-1000. That's 616-661-1000 and see what Mike and the team can do for you. It doesn't hurt to ask a couple of questions, and they'll walk you through everything that they're up to at Talon Wealth. But reach out today because you don't want to wait before it's too late.
Wherever you are, stream us on your smartphone. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio and 106.9 FM.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Here in Michigan, an EV battery company bails on Governor Whitmer despite taxpayer funding. The company, a global mining giant called Fortescue, will continue to explore opportunities elsewhere. Last year, Whitmer promising the $200 million EV battery plant in Detroit would create up to 600 jobs and build on our economic momentum. More woke lunacy here in Michigan. Democrat State Senator Jeremy Moss says we're keeping boys in girls' bathrooms and showers. This after the Michigan House passing a bathroom bill along party lines. It would ban transgender students from using school bathrooms of the gender they identify with. And Michigan House Democrats claiming Republicans want to defund the police. But the facts tell a very different story. House Republicans want budget increases, funding for law enforcement, contrary to what Democrats are saying. Speaker Hall, a Republican, says our budget does not get rid of one state police trooper. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone.
All right. Hey, thank you for your patience this morning. I don't know about you, but things are a little bit more frustrating here because there's a problem with the internet. I don't know how fast the speed is right now, but everything's slow here. I don't know what that looks like for you on the stream, but it's things aren't streaming very well. It takes the computer time to open things. In fact, we don't even have cable right now, so we don't have access to the televisions. Anything that we might get, we normally monitor that stuff in case there's like big breaking news or something that we need to be aware of. That's a help as well, but we don't really we don't even have access to that stuff right now. So it's been a weird day inside the studios, and again, really not much of anything we can do about it. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew. That's what we're dealing with here. So thank you for your patience. I certainly appreciate your being here with us. And click and share on this video today because these stories are big. That story out of Blendon Township. It could be any town USA. I'm telling you, folks, they're fighting, and what they're fighting, the precedents and the battles they're fighting right now are being set. Green Charter Township, Blendon Township, here in Michigan, which seems to be it really does seem to be ground zero for a lot of this stuff. What's essentially getting forced on us in a lot of ways. And it is. It's really, really hard to watch, but it's something that we can't take our eyes off of because it is very important. All right, Steve, let me see if I can get to Steve from Lowell, who has a little something to add to our conversation of energy today anyway. Oh, Whitmer bragging she creates 28 jobs and loses 1,000, not a peep from me. Yeah. And she's out there, too, right now. Still, she's extended her trip. I don't know if you saw it. She's extended her trip in Japan to Singapore and Germany, a few other places. She loves jet setting. She loves flying around. Oh, Steve, you just let go. Steve, where are you? He just hung up. All right, well, stand by. And Steve, if you're listening, call back. If not, we'll get back to you. Thanks to the folks at Mentality helping power the show today and every day. Man, we need you in a fight. Matter most to be the best husbands, the best fathers, the best uncles, grandfathers, you name it, and the best in your call on a daily basis. Your testosterone levels may not be where if you felt like a little bit of a slip, right? You just don't have the edge that you used to have and energy and everyday life. Mentality might be able to help. Reach out today and see what they can do for you. MentalityHealth.com/radio to schedule your appointment and get your life back on track. Thanks to those folks for helping us power this program today and every day. President Trump making some remarks yesterday. This is, I thought, probably a good way to round out things today. We got a lot to talk about in the after show. Trust me. Man, it's like a never a dull moment. Drink it to a fire hose, trying to get through it all in the after show, the show after the show, which is what we get to fire up every day at JustinBarkley.com, Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, you name it. And probably most importantly, the iHeartRadio app. And wherever you download your podcast, we podcast the whole thing, including this show. And you'll never miss a minute. You can get things. Remember, we were talking about people being, the attention span's not lasting as long anymore. We even cut some of our best segments up for you. So the segment with Trent or the segment with Bev you just heard today, we'll cut those up. Yesterday, we talked to Congressman John James, who's running for governor. It cut that up, and it'll become its own segment, and you can even listen to those piece by piece when you'd like to there and get everything sort of bite-sized ways of doing it. President Trump yesterday saying, and we'll talk about this on the after show, at the Bible Museum, it's tyrants who are denying our rights and the rights that come from God. That's right, Tim Kaine, the rights that come from God. He made that point, talking to leaders in the faith.
Good things happen for our country. It's amazing the way it seems to work that way. And under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one nation under God, and we always will be.
A fantastic moment. We talked about that yesterday. If you missed it, a great conversation on the after show yesterday as well. Never miss a minute in the live or archive, both ways. And all the stories we mentioned throughout the day, we put up on the stack at JustinBarkley.com. That's going to do it for today. Hang out with us through the after show, stream with us live, or check out the Glenn Beck program. Glenn is back in with you next, right here on Wood Radio. Make it a great day, folks. God bless.
Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, host of the...
All right, folks, let me just get a couple of things set up, and we will be rocking and rolling. Again, everything kind of taking a little longer to do today because of the internet and the computer here. So I'm going to warn you, caution you, we may have to cut it short, because if we can't get some of the things up when we need to, like the clips that we want to play and things like that, that means a lot. Yeah. That means a lot. All right, let's do it. Let me get into it. Here we go, folks. Stand by. Back after it, and we'll be rolling. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barkley. Well, that weird intro is brought to you by the internet being down here and not working very well. We're so dependent on it. All of that tech stuff, and yet on a day, even a tech too, there's nothing we could do about it, because I think it's at the internet source itself, whatever that company is that we use. I think I know, but I'm not going to say. We had a problem here today, so we're trying to get things back on track. I'll tell you one thing. There's no problem cover the news. There's no shortage of it today. More Epstein files released. I'm going to tell you why that probably doesn't matter. Will we ever get the truth with all of this? That's a whole nother question and a conversation that we'll get into. But maybe some of the biggest news, and this really can't be, I think should not be overshadowed. President Trump making that big comment yesterday, calling the country to prayer for the 250th anniversary of this nation. We'll talk about that coming up and why I think it matters so much. First, thanks to our folks, friends and of the faith at MyPillow, mypillow.com/Justin or mystore.com/Justin. Mike has been a man of the faith and in the fight for such a long time now. His faith compels him not only to offer you great deals on great products, but also to be in the fight for this nation on a daily basis. And we support him with those. Anything you order, by the way, from MyPillow, not only does it help support Mike, there's a $10 off coupon there. It also helps support this program as well. So anytime you do that, we appreciate the pillows, the mattresses, the slippers, all kinds of great things. The towels, which I love, even my coffee. The price of coffee is going through the roof. Well, not my coffee. 50% off you can get right now when you go to mypillow.com/Justin. Use promo code Justin. mypillow.com/Justin. Also free shipping on orders of $100 or more right now. mystore.com/Justin. Use the promo code Justin to take advantage. President Trump doing just that, taking advantage of the moment. Museum of the Bible, which is a beautiful place. I tell you, I went there with a friend of mine when I was in D.C. for the White House. We were there for the first 100 days a while back, and it's just a fantastic place. It's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful inside. And the president, they've got this huge auditorium, and near the roof, like on the building there. The president giving this speech today and making some very good points.
Good things happen for our way. It seems to work that way. And under the Trump administration, we're defending our rights and restoring our identity as a nation under God. We are one nation under God, and we always will be.
Amen.
The need for this commission has never been more clear than it was last week when the ineffectual senator from Virginia, a man named Tim Kaine, stated that the notion our rights come from our Creator is, quote, extremely troubling to him. Very troubling, isn't it?
You know, it's interesting. We talked about this, and this is the whole point. We made this case yesterday, probably while he was giving this speech. I don't know how many people can hear something like that from Tim Kaine. I told you it was about logic, by the way, and reason, and they're completely void of it on the left. Trump gives a little bit more thought to it.
How he would say something like that, and advocated really by a totalitarian regime. This is what they say. But as everyone in this room understands, it is tyrants who are denying.
Uh-oh. We're freezing up. That might be the internet freezing up on
our rights and that come from God. And it's this declaration of names. We're endowed by our Creator with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The senator from Virginia should be ashamed of himself.
That's right.
For many things. For many things. For things even beyond that. But in its own way, nothing's more important than those words. They were terrible words. As president, I will always defend our nation's glorious heritage, and we will protect the Judeo-Christian principles of our founding, and we will protect them with vigor. We have to bring back religion in America, bring it back stronger than ever before as our country grows stronger and stronger. Our country is now.
Yeah, you know, he's absolutely right about that. It is now more important than ever to make sure that we are rooted, really, because if you're not, you're going to find out very quickly, and that was part of the find out era we were in over the last year or so, 4 years, really. You're going to find out very quick. Well, unfortunately, but you're going to find out very quickly what that looks like when it comes to some of these extreme leftist takeover, communist plan, really, is what we're talking about. But it's exactly what it is. I mean, you're going to find out quickly where things are headed, and in a hurry. Folks, it's never been more important, I think, and I don't think it's ever been more critical to understand where we are, and particularly with our faith rooted in this nation. Now, the reason for it, because we're the last stop here, the backstop here for the world. And now you can wear that message with the One Nation Under God tees, the hoodie. Got them for the ladies now, too. He's asked for the special design, so we've even got long sleeve tees. The One Nation Under God design, which I designed for you there with the flag and the cross. You can get them now, justinbarclay.com/store, justinbarclay.com/store. Grab yours and get 10% off your first order inside for the Freedom Fam with that code when you go to justinbarclay.com/store. Probably a good time to tell you about that. Yeah, I just saw, I think it was, somebody just mentioned, I think it was Bonnie just mentioned that. Go get one of those shirts. Very good point, Bonnie. The opportunity. What else did he say, the president, as he was there? Well, he had a couple other great things to mention. In fact, there was a kid. I don't know. Did you just see what he said about Ben Carson, which I think is something that I've heard time and time again. In fact, I heard this from Ben Carson. We had dinner together. I guess it was about a year, maybe a little bit, maybe a year ago, maybe September. Might have been September, August, somewhere in there. Oakland County. They had a fantastic event. Story about Ben Carson and what Ben Carson's particularly about his faith, and what he said about why he was here. Now, he told me this story. I don't know if the Twitter's going to play it for us or X is going to play it for us. Again, we're having the internet problems today. He shares what Dr. Ben Carson said to him at the debate in 2016. Oh, this is interesting. You know you're going to win, don't you, President Trump? I don't know that. He said, I don't know that. Well, he said, you know you're going to win. God wants you to win. Isn't that something? So, what about that?
What you said to me, Ben, the famous words. He was a very tough opponent. We were fighting it out, and we had actually 18 candidates, including me. And Ben, right after the first debate, he said, you know you're going to win, don't you? And I said, no, I don't know that. I think I'm going to win, but I don't know it. 18 people, and I had never done it before. They had all done it. They were all governors and senators, talented. I said, no, you're going to win it because God wants you to win it. Right? Right? But that didn't stop him. We went through. I said, when is this guy going to quit? You know, he gave me these words of beauty. Then he goes for weeks and weeks. He was tough. He was a tough one. But we love Ben. Ben's special. We appreciate it. Thank you.
We had a great conversation about the millimeter miracle. In fact, Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, he was there in Oakland County, gave the invocation that night for the dinner. And Dr. Ben Carson has said next to him, I said, you know, I just look at this. I go, I can't imagine. It takes more faith to believe that was a coincidence than it does anything else. That President Trump survived the millimeter miracle. How close we came, not just from the president losing his life and, you know, his family losing a father, et cetera, grandfather, but how close we came as a nation to just being in utter chaos and turmoil. And it's hard to explain that to some people. They have a hard time imagining because you don't want to imagine. But I know enough to know what would have taken place next if that would have happened, and I shudder to think. We had a fantastic conversation about that, and another night. But that's part of the faith front and center again, in the forefront on the nations of the world right now with what President Trump is doing, and particularly yesterday's event there at the Museum of the Bible. Again, he's calling for the 250th anniversary in preparation for it, calling for people to pray for the nation to hit its knees. Now, I think we had to do that in order to in order to. Where are we getting this? Where's this coming from? That's weird. Oh, maybe that's coming from the other piece. Okay. We had to hit our knees in order to get him back in office, and we need to remain there. That's my point. As we continue to turn the country around. There was a story I'd really love to play for you if the internet will if it will cooperate with us right now. I'm getting this spinning wheel of death right now. Wow, insanity. This young kid with President Trump, when he was in 5th grade, his school forced him to teach his kindergarten buddy about changing their gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. He was bullied for being a Christian, and his school did nothing. I'd love to play for you that story, but I don't know if we're going to get. Let's try it. Let's see if we can get it. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Shane Seas. I've been a Christian.
You got the spinning wheel of death. We don't even have cable here right now.
Life, and Jesus means everything.
There we go. Amen.
When I was in 5th grade, my school forced me to teach my kindergarten buddy about changing his gender using a book called My Shadow is Pink. The book said you can choose your gender based on feelings instead of how God made us. I knew this was not right, but I was afraid of getting in trouble. After my family spoke up, the school treated us badly, and kids started bullying me and my brother because of our faith. Stop it. It hurt a lot, but I kept trusting God. I believe kids like me should be able to live our faith at school without being forced to go against what we believe.
Yeah.
I hope no other family has to go through what mine did. Thank you.
Wow. What a story. And, of course, we have had lots of persecution politically for people of faith as well. You remember the Biden administration wanted to track down Catholics, go after Catholics. Remember they were such a threat. And part of that reasoning, I guess, part of the reason for that, traditional Catholics that believed in the Latin Mass, things like that. But I think part of the reason for that is they just don't want you to. They want you to submit and worship. Trump's saying no more. We're not going to do that anymore. In fact, making that the big stance yesterday. So the 250th anniversary of the nation, and of course we will we'll continue to keep that story covered. I have some ideas about what I'd like to do and how we'd like to move forward and actually support this effort. America Prays. Hear your ideas as well. We'll see if we can get some together and participate. Now, we have some fire trucks in the background here, and it's been one of those days, and I don't really know how to say this other than to say it might just be time for us to shut it down. I just heard from Adam, the producer, the producer's booth. Yeah, it turns out there's some fire alarms going off on some other floors. So now we got fire trucks coming here, and our internet doesn't work. So I might just be forced to shut this thing down today, guys, and I am sorry about that. But no weapon formed against us shall prosper in Jesus' name. We'll just say that. Did you hear it? You hear it in the background. It's almost time for us to wrap up anyway. So I'll give you that, and then I'll tell you this. You can't make this up. Now, we have the window open because the studio's so hot. Maybe the studio's so hot because of the flames. Oh, there for a dull moment here. Folks, I appreciate you being here with us today. I think on that, I'm going to wrap it up. If anything else happens, I will let you know. This is to me what it was like to probably go down on the Titanic. I would have been laughing the whole way through. I don't know. It's never a dull moment, though. At least it's entertaining. I'll just give you that. At least the whole thing is entertaining. I promise we get the internet up and running tomorrow. We'll give you a full-fledged after show. There'll be no. Hey, by the way, go on over and grab a shirt while you can. We still have them. JustinBarkley.com/store. Get the One Nation Under God tees. The other beautiful Freedom Fam merchandise as well, mugs and all kinds of great stuff. Take care, Smokey. Yeah, I appreciate you. There is a fire escape. It's right here. So if I need to, I'm going right down. You see they got the window open. Fire escape. It's kind of rickety, but I'll go run for my life. And I've never been one to run. But you know, maybe it's a good opportunity, good time to do that. Is it time to leave? Unfortunately, I think it is. Maybe even for me in this scenario. All right, that's it, folks. I love you guys. Make it a great day. VIP Freedom Fan members, unfortunately,